Hello, everyone, and welcome to the return of Stream Chat. I've only done a pilot of this show before, but I'm happy to bring it back. Of course, it is now sponsored, I'm very excited to say, by Alienware and Intel, so it's awesome to have their support. So happy that they're here. If you haven't seen Stream Chat before, it's a show where I interview streamers live on Twitch about their story and what's going on. Today, I'm excited to be joined by somebody who hasn't even been streaming for a month, InvaderVie. I said your name right, correct?
You did. It's perfect.
Okay, perfect. And I'm super happy to talk to you on stream because you have a really interesting story. A lot of people, they spend a very, very long time streaming, but you found rapid success. And so I want to kind of get into that. But maybe you can tell me a little bit about when you started streaming and how it's been for the past month or so.
Yeah, so I made my Twitch account in February of 2018 because that's when I seriously considered streaming. But I realized that like putting yourself out on the internet is something that once done cannot really be taken back. It will always be there. It's a beautifully permanent thing. And so I spent all of last year thinking about it and talking about it with my friends and family and sort of like preparing them for the idea that this would be something that I would do, because I kind of had the feeling that if I tried it and I gave it the best shot that I absolutely had, I might really enjoy it, and I might enjoy it enough that other people might enjoy watching it, and this might happen. I never actually imagined that it would. Like, you go into your head about the best case scenarios and the worst case scenarios. And I never imagined that the best case scenario would be the one that I'm fucking sitting in this moment.
Well, I'm happy. It's been cool to see how much success you've had. I'm trying to remember where I first saw you, but I know a bunch of your clips have gone viral. Knight Sinclair, we were talking before this, did a parody of your blanket fort, which, by the way, do you want to describe a little bit what your blanket fort is? Because for those that are watching this interview with you for the first time.
It's a bit confusing. There's a lot of things going on. So this year over Christmas, I decided to motivate myself to like pursue my dreams by getting a really, really shitty retail job for Christmas. And so I didn't have time to go to my parents' house to like get my Christmas decorations out of storage. So instead, I built a blanket fort in my living room as like Christmas decorations. In my mind, that was an equal substitute. And once I had this blanket fort, I sort of realized that like it solved a problem that I was having in like me getting motivated to streaming, and that I was like, I don't like what's going on around. Like, I need to be able to look at my stream and enjoy what I see as much as you guys do. And I was looking at my stream with just like a plain background of like a wall or a picture or of like a flat surface. And I was like, this isn't anything. This isn't inviting anybody anywhere. And I was like, if you're coming into my channel, I want you to feel like you're actually in the room with me. And like, what's a more intimate room than a blanket fort? Like, you don't get more intimate than a blanket fort. You're usually on the floor. You're usually in pajamas. You're usually like under the ages of 13. And that just described Twitch perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole audience right there. So I actually don't know, and I've watched some of your streams, but I actually don't know how much of your background you've talked about. I know you were talking a little bit on your stream about sort of your frustrations working in the retail life or all that, but and I believe, especially telling by your accent, that you live somewhere in Canada, and I think you're not on the West Coast because we have a time zone. So what's kind of your, before you got streaming, like maybe you can give me the lowdown on who you are as a person.
So everybody constantly is like, you're a theater student, you're a theater student, you're a theater student. And like in university, I for sure took theater classes. Like, I would be stupid not to. I wasn't going to go into history. I wasn't going to go into like law. I wasn't going to go into environmental studies or geography or anything. Like, I was like, maybe I could be an actor. And so I took theater classes in university, and it was awful. I was awful. I almost failed out of all of those classes. I was not what they were looking for. So like, it does break my heart a little bit that people are like, oh, she's a theater student. And I'm like, I am the dropout theater student. I am the reject theater student. Like, you guys nailed it. Like, I'm the worst one. And so after I did university and I took those theater classes, and I realized that like this industry is fucking brutal. People are going to be so fucking critical of you. Like, if you're playing a character, they're just going to come at you. I didn't want to play a character. I thought that I wanted to work behind the camera. So I went to college for makeup artistry, which is like in Southern Ontario. There's like a bunch of colleges for like makeup artistry. And then I was like, maybe there's a way that I can like be myself and also be like active in a performance as well. And like being on camera, being on Twitch is like myself, but I mean on. It's myself, but on.
Yeah. So for those that don't watch your stream, maybe you can talk a little bit and are watching this interview. How would you describe your stream? Because I actually don't super know. You're at times it feels like you're all over the place. Sometimes you're talking about certain topics. Sometimes you're giving life advice. So what is your stream really about? How would you describe your stream?
It is definitely hot nonsense. Consistently hot nonsense. No matter what it is, it does not have anything connected to what was happening even minutes or hours beforehand. People coming in and trying to define it, people coming in and trying to like package it and trying to put a label on it is infinitely frustrating to me because I have no idea either. I'm on my 28th day. In your first month of doing anything, did you really know what you were doing? Or were you just sort of going through the motions and hoping that people didn't call you out on your bullshit?
Yeah.
That's what my stream is.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to not, when I first started doing content, I didn't feel as though I knew what I was doing, but remarkably, like, I don't think I had nearly as much as success as you have had in such a short time, because your viewership, I mean, I've seen it peak over 1,000 viewers at times. And it's just like tune in and you're just like talking to people or playing with the dog or doing all this random stuff. And it's kind of fascinating. Did you have, when you knew that you were going to start streaming, like, did you have a strategy in mind on what you wanted that content to be?
I knew that I was going to do it for a month. And like I've started mentioning this in my stream, and it's been like so delightfully beautiful to see people in the chat be like, what do you mean a month? What's happening after the first month? That it was my New Year's resolution that I was going to do it. I had the blanket for it. I had no excuses not to do the stream. So I was going to do it for a month to see how I felt about it. Because the reality is that like I can continue doing this. Like we all have the choice to stop and go whenever we want. And so I was just going to do it for a month. And so like trying to figure out what I was going to do with that month was I was just going to enjoy myself. And that's what I've gone into every single stream with. That sometimes I have a plan. Sometimes I write things down that like stories that I know I want to share or questions that I have for people. I do really like when the chat brings up new information. I was a Redditor for a long time, but I wasn't a Twitch viewer. So there's a lot of people on this platform that I didn't know. And so what I've been doing for this month is literally just like, it's like Ariel's 3 days on land in The Little Mermaid. Like she didn't have a plan, but she knew she wanted to be there.
Yeah. Maybe we can back up a little bit and just talk about your sort of discovery of Twitch as a platform, because you mentioned that you've had an account for a year and you've contemplated this for a year. And I know on your stream that you've talked about how, you know, like a lot of people find Twitch because they play a ton of video games and then they end up on the platform. That is not necessarily your background. So what was your like first discovery of Twitch? How did you become aware of it? And how did you decide that you wanted to take this on?
So it definitely began with my older brother. He played video games like obsessively growing up. So I grew up watching him play video games. Like I was a Twitch viewer before Twitch existed because I wasn't allowed to play the video games. I was the little sister. So I watched him playing and I knew how enjoyable it was. So it wasn't a stretch for me to imagine that like millions of other people would also enjoy watching somebody else play video games. So I discovered it through that. He ended up watching like StarCraft. That was what he would watch all the time. And I was like, why are you watching these people play StarCraft? I, in my mind, was like, you should be playing the video games and you should be broadcasting. And he was like, no, that's not for me. And then in my mind, immediately, I was like, well, then I should be the one doing it.
So you knew about Twitch. You discovered it from your brother watching StarCraft. And you thought, oh, maybe this is what I could do. But your initial plans around streaming games, or did you discover the streamers that were not streaming games? Like, how did you decide that this was what you wanted to tackle on the platform, this type of content?
I knew I was going to do just chatting because I'm such a fucking chatty Cathy. Like, I'm a disgusting chatty Cathy. I never shut up. I've known this for my whole life. People love to come into stream and tell me, whoa, you never shut up. Oh my God, really? Did you notice? Maybe I've noticed because I've been with myself for 28 fucking years. I know I don't shut up. Maybe I should put that to use. Maybe I could use that instead of just like annoying all the people around me IRL.
Yeah. Well, and then you ended up on stream. What's one of the things that I've noticed that's interesting is the a lot of streamers rely heavily on their mods to just kind of police the chat. And while I don't want to get too explicit on some of the things I've seen in your chat, what is very funny is that you have had a lot of people show up in your chat and they might say something insulting or something that's rude, or, you know, just like the common things that mods are here on Twitch to police. And while I've certainly seen people get timed out, for the most part, you're not afraid to respond to these people and just sort of take them on in your own way, which I think is a unique thing I haven't seen too many broadcasters deal with. So what has led you to do that? That's your dog barks.
Basically, well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, and I don't mean to like talk down or to diss or throw shade on anybody, but what people say in the comments is nothing fucking new. Everybody comes in with the same shit over and over again. Like, do you really think you're being original by coming in and saying, do you have ADHD? Are you on cocaine? When I was in high school, one of my English teachers took me aside and was like, V, I have to tell you, people have called me V for my whole life also. So like, it's part of my life. Like, V, I have to tell you, several students have approached me concerned about your obvious drug use. And I just have to laugh and tell them that, like, no, she's just very energetic and enthusiastic about learning. And like, I'm energetic and enthusiastic about every fucking thing. I forget what the question was.
The question was, how do you deal with the people that are in
how do I deal with the haters?
Chat?
Oh, God, because all I can do is be like enthusiastic about it. That to be perfectly frank, like it's words on a page. I don't hear the inflection in their voice. I can't see their body language. I have to take what they're saying for the like black and white, the simplistic like fact of the language, of the grammar, of the syntax that they use. And because I'm the one that gets to read it, I will put the best spin on it that I possibly can, because to do anything else would be a disservice to myself.
I mean, you could always time them out, right? Like, there are people that just like purge these folks.
But why though? Like, of course I could. Of course I could silence everybody who has something negative to say about me. But they're not, like, their comments are not invalid. They're not wrong. They're just stupid for bringing it up all the time.
Yeah, I like that. It's an interesting take on the Twitch commentary. You're not wrong. You're just stupid for bringing it up all the time. Feel as though, like, where are you at on streaming now? Because it's been 28 days. I presume that, you know, you gave yourself this month to tackle all this and give it a try. It seems like you're finding a lot of success.
Well, honestly, I gave myself the month to get affiliated. I was like, if you get affiliated, then obviously that success will motivate you to go a month further. And then I was like, and then you have like another month to, like, if you're super duper lucky, get partnered. So like, getting affiliated was the goal that I went into on my first day. And that happened within the first 8 days.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know what my goals. I know that I know that I need a smidge more structure. I know that I need to plan out more what I'm going to do during stream. And I know, as crazy as this sounds, I have to get out of the blanket fort. I move, like, what's good about the blanket fort is that it's jungle gymtastic in its own ways, and that I can like move around a lot. I can stand up if I want to, and like get the ball and like look at all this space I have for activities. And like, there's not a lot of like armchair like handles or like rolly wheels to confine me, but I need to get out of the fucking blanket fort because I'm already bored of this. Like, my attention span is so short. What I want for my stream is like 18 chapters ahead of what I can even imagine, but I know it's going to be great.
What are your, when did you know while you were streaming and when you were starting off streaming that your like things were starting to roll faster? Because I remember you just mentioned that it took you a couple days, like not too long, to get affiliate. You've given yourself a month for this, but then all of a sudden you started having like multiple hundreds of people show up. I mean, was there like a single moment, or what has this experience been like?
There was definitely a moment when I think it was the first time that I hit 1,000 viewers without like it wasn't because somebody hosted me. I don't think it was because anybody like particularly shouted me out, but it was because I was wearing my favorite floral sundress and a pair of over-the-knee socks. I love that outfit. That's an outfit that I would like wear when I needed to like go into like confidently into a situation. And so I went into that stream being like, I need to go in confidently to this stream. And I was looking at my stream elements, like overviews. And the day that I wore that outfit, the day that I went into the stream being like, I'm nervous. I'm anxious. It's getting bigger than I think I can handle. I don't know if I can fucking wrestle with this crazy leviathan that is fucking Twitch. And I was like, then put on your best armor and go in and go hard. And so I was like, okay, over the knee socks, floral dress, nobody can touch me. I'm invincible. And again, it just fucking happened. Like it just happened. You just believe hard enough and it fucking happens.
Yeah.
I guess.
Do you feel like the platform, I mean, because you mentioned so much around how live stream fails, and a lot of the platform is dominated, I mean, most of the games are dominated by men in terms of like top streamers. They tend to usually be men. There's very few women that get up there. Is this something that you like are conscious of and thinking about and like hoping to change? I mean, it seems neat that you found another female streamer who was able to put herself out there, and that almost seemed to be at least in part inspiration for your coming to the platform.
Yes. I mean, as far as gaming goes, I will never. My attention span simply won't allow for it. I'm too much of myself to like rock at video games. But what really attracted me to Twitch was the possibilities for it to expand beyond gaming, for like the depth that just chatting. Sorry, pardon me.
You're good.
For like the depth and the breadth that just chatting has, the possibilities that it has to connect people all over the world and in different ways. You don't need a whole lot to start streaming. You can do it very simply and you can have a huge effect if you are like focused in what you're doing. And that's really what I see is good about like the top streamers on this platform, is that no matter what they are doing, even if it might seem random, even if it might seem outrageous or out of control or over the top, they are incredibly focused individuals. Everybody really does like have an idea of what they're doing, and they have an opinion and they have a clear way of expressing it, whether it's through their interactions with chat, through their social media interactions, or exactly what they do on stream or what they do on other people's streams. So, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting what the question is.
No, it's fine. It was just, we were just discussing women presence on the platform and sort of the fact that a lot of the games are
Branching out, more women on the
90%.
platform,
Yeah.
more LGBTQ streamers, more people creating niche markets, more people connecting with the unconnectable people in society. Like, we are people of the internet, guys. There's a reason we're on the internet. It's because we don't fit in with everybody else out in the real world. So why don't we invite more weirdos in?
I mean, well said. One of the things
it's
that
rude of me to call
one of the things that I
weirdos.
saw on your stream earlier today was you were talking about, like, your chat was like, oh, she seems nervous. And you were kind of like, yeah, I do feel nervous. I mean, and that's what's remarkable is that 28 days in, I'm not surprised that maybe you still feel nervous, but it's fascinating to me because you approach your stream with so much energy and gusto. But maybe at the same time, like, it is interesting because you are still getting used to this stuff, right?
Yeah, I do. I still feel really, really nervous. It's difficult to explain because I'm sitting in my blanket fort. I'm surrounded by like all of my favorite things, by all of my favorite people. The only thing that is different is that like on either side of this web camera, there are lights. That signifies that what I'm doing is suddenly being broadcast in the public sphere. And being in public, for somebody who hit puberty when she was 9 years old and grew into an adult body very, very quickly, means that like when I go out into public, something that I love about being Canadian is winter. When I go into public in winter in my big ass winter coat covered with like scarves and blankets and hats and mittens and boots and pants, nobody looks at me twice. But in the summertime, when I'm like, I can't help but like go out onto the street and like twirl and dance in a fucking sundress because the sun is out and I live in goddamn Canada and it's a miracle that it ever gets above freezing. People look at me, people watch me, people want to see what the fucking show is about. They want to like view this like come to life Disney princess.
Yeah. What are your plans for the future with the stream? I know you just said you're still figuring that stuff out, and like you've got all these big plans that are like down the road, but in the near future, what are you looking to do? Baking
For sure. I love baking. I love I'm a very tactile person, which is why the blanket fort has so many like different textures and like a mirror back here and a bunch of fucking stickers. That was me. No. That was me knocking on the door. I'm sorry. That was me. Look. It's right here. See? Sorry. She's a very inquisitive little motherfucker. So my plans are I would love to do she's got to just make sure that it's not the door. So I have to do some baking streams. I want to do more arts and crafts. I would love to encourage other streamers to like join me in the blanket fort and practice positivity. I think there is something to be gained from practicing positivity. I think it is a muscle that we can flex more like communally. There's a lot of what's the word that I'm looking for? What is it called when you hate yourself a lot, but it's a cool, fun joke?
Oh, like disparaging humor or whatever?
There's a fuck ton of that, and it's hilarious. It's super duper funny. I have hundreds of suicide memes saved in my phone as well, guys. Don't worry. Of course, of course. But we can want to die and still love ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to bring, I don't know. It's I think what really shocks people is that a 28-year-old adult woman is usually not like so consistently positive because like life fucking shits on you. Life shits on everybody in different ways.
Yeah.
It's how you deal with that shit that like either makes you stand apart from the crowd or makes you somebody who's buried in shit. And I simply do not choose to be buried in shit.
You said you gave up a retail job for this. Are you, I mean, is this like the start of something new and exciting for you on the life front? Because I mean, the people who grow on this platform, and you've been growing pretty rapidly, it could be life-changing, the sort of change in income and all that. I saw that you had like a crowdfunding situation for new hardware for your computer and all that stuff. Like,
oh my God, I got it. It's over there.
What are you like? Is this, you think, maybe the future for you from like a career perspective?
I definitely want to keep streaming. I want to do this consistently. If I really like something, I can do it for years at a time. And ideally, I would like to be able to do this for years. I see myself using this platform and growing with this platform and encouraging other people to grow with this platform as well. So that's something that, like, of course, is like in my view of the future and on the horizon. So I was really, really glad to leave that retail job. I went into it knowing that I was going to quit it eventually. It was to motivate myself to leave retail forever. And so, yeah, streaming full time would be good. I would also like to be able to be able to incorporate cosplay and volunteer into the same thing. So I used to work professionally as a Disney princess. That's why I'm good at this platform. It's because I was a Disney princess for so long.
Wow. What is that like at a theme park or what?
I did all the events that there's like different tiers of Disney princess, and Disney princesses who are in the park usually don't go anywhere else but the park. But there's a lot of like events that Disney affiliates can like provide princesses for. And so I was part of a company that was a Disney affiliate, and we would do everything else. So we would do like birthday parties, private parties, malls openings, parades, Christmas pageants, business events. We would do all this crazy stuff. Oh my God, we went to Bermuda. We traveled internationally. Like anywhere that you would want a princess, you can't just like pluck a princess out of the park, but you can get a princess if you know who to get in contact with.
I'm guessing.
And so I did that through that company. And I eventually started realizing that I was working my ass off, going above and beyond for them and getting not a lot in return, unfortunately. And so what I would like to do is to be able to stream. Actually, I can show you my illustration. Do you guys want to see it?
I'm down. I like how you say you guys. You're so used to she's so used to talking to the stream that it's a you guys situation. How are you guys doing, Twitch chat? Speaking of you guys.
So I made some illustrations because I made a GoFundMe campaign that I thought would like be able to provide this. And I was like, GoFundMe isn't going to do it. I have to do it myself. So like, this is it.
So this is the plan.
Yeah. This is the 3-pronged plan for happiness. So I'm going to do Twitch, which can like fund cosplaying, which can then allow me to volunteer.
Gotcha.
Well, you guys look at my panel.
Hierarchy
You guys,
of needs.
I drew my own panels.
Nice. I like that.
You go to my channel and you look at my panels. That's part of my panels because I'm a child. And that was also part of the bigger goal of fulfilling ikigai.
Gotcha. You want to elaborate on ikigai for those that don't know?
I do. Ikigai is the Japanese principle of like your purpose in life. It is 4 overlapping like Venn diagram circles. 1 for what you are good at, another for what you're passionate about, another for what you can be paid for, and a 4th for what the world needs. If you can fulfill all 4 of those criteria, this Japanese principle of the purpose of your life, ikigai, will be fulfilled. And so I think that volunteering my time, cosplaying as characters and princesses and video game characters, cartoon TV characters, like I love dressing up. I love hanging out with kids. I think volunteering my time with children who deserve to be recognized by the people that they admire, there's nothing better in the world. And that's what I want to do. That's
really cool. You've talked before. You get asked this question oftentimes on your chat, which is gaming. Will you stream games? Can you stream games? Can you be a gaming streamer? Is that something you want to do in the future? Is stream games?
Yes. Yeah, I like playing video games. And I used to play video games when I had like people immediately in my life who wanted to play with me. Unfortunately, now I don't have people like in real life immediately in my life who want to play video games with me, but I have a lot of friends online who would love to watch me play. And I've already gotten the rundown from like several other streamers who say, if you start in just chatting and you go over to video games, you're going to see your viewer count drop because your just chatting fans don't want to watch you play video games. And your video game fans are mostly going to be there to sort of like chirp you at your terrible video gaming. And I was like, that's okay. I play for the love of the game. And those are her last words on the subject until she actually does it and realizes how terrible it is and never goes back to gaming again.
One of the interesting things was that you were crowdfunding it only took 28 days for you to basically crowdfund a computer for yourself. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, that was fucking wild. That was, I mean, people, you hear all the time that like female Twitch streamers make more money than male Twitch streamers do. And like, that's true. If you look at the numbers of it, it's absolutely true. And so like, I was like, oh, of course people are going to donate. Of course people are going to feel generous. But like last Friday, it was like, bam, 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 motherfucker. Like it was like a whammy after a whammy after a whammy. And like, I didn't realize, like, I guess I didn't realize like the depth of people's generosity. I didn't understand that like there would actually be people who were genuinely rooting for me to do this, and they would be so committed to do it to like actually send me their like fucking hard-earned money. Like, I don't know, it's the most valuable thing in the world, and it's a thing that people want to part with the absolute least. And they were just giving it to me, and oh man, I don't know. It makes me feel super weird. I was definitely raised with like a weird like stigma about money and accepting money and demanding money. And so that element of the platform makes me feel super uncomfortable, except that people's generosity is astounding and refreshing.
Yeah. Well, I do want to get into questions from chat in a minute just to wrap stuff up. But one thing that's kind of cool about the show is that the show is all about highlighting the people that are on it and streamers that are up and coming or streamers that are established and sort of helping you tell your stories and what really motivates you. Something that is kind of cool as we get into kind of a more sponsored element of the show is that I talked to Alienware and to Intel, who are sponsoring the show. And so what is kind of neat, I've not really done this before, so I'm curious how it works. But
Okay.
what is kind of neat is that thankfully, you know, I know that you just bought a computer. But also, so Alienware, or I get to hook you up with this Alienware Aurora R8, which is powered by an Intel i7-9700K. So anyway, after the show, we'll just talk and I'll get your contact information. But in addition to the computer,
I feel like you just told me that I was getting like my own free like Smiggle Smoof, and I don't know what a Smiggle Smoof is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either. But let me tell you, well, actually, the fun thing is I actually have one of these back here. It's out of focus, but I'm sponsored by Alienware, so I can tell you their hardware is really cool. But you can stream off of this PC. It's a PC. It's a computer. You get to stream off of it.
Stop. Oh my god, this is not the time, young lady.
You can use it as a secondary computer if you want to stream from your first one. But the processor is pretty sick, and it's brand new. So thanks to Intel for doing this, and thank you to Alienware. So that is the cool thing we get to do for you on Stream Chat this week. So anyway, thanks to them. You seem excited.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. I don't know. What I'm embarrassed about is that I don't even understand the like incredible generosity that this is, because I don't have any like product knowledge, but
No, it's fine. You can your Twitch chat will help you out at some point in time. But you can definitely use it to play games and stream, which is pretty neat.
That's what I want to do. We're gonna play Gris and we're gonna play Sims.
I mean, it's awesome that your chat ended up supporting you on stream a couple of days ago, but it's also funny because at the same time I was like, okay, we're gonna give her this computer, which is kind of funny. So now you'll have, I guess, 2 computers or something. You can figure out what to do with it. Anyway,
Oh
Twitch chat. If you guys have questions for Invader Vie here at the end of the show, we can start to take those. But yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool. Oh.
I mean, look, I've used their
kind
stuff.
of cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no! Oh jeez. Okay, sorry. I'm not gonna gush. Like gushing, it ain't cute. Gushing ain't cute.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Here, let's get into the questions really quickly. Blave5 asks, what StarCraft streamers did you or your brother used to watch? Because you kind of remind him or her of Day 9.
I can text him and I can ask.
Okay.
But like, to be perfectly frank, my older brother is, I think, pissed that I'm blowing up on Twitch. Can you imagine anything more revolting than your little sister being sexualized by all of your peers suddenly?
Yeah, well, you can also tell your little brother that you're getting a computer, so that's kind of cool.
It's true.
You can brag about it. So, Blay, you can talk to, you can ask her on her stream that question after she's had a chance to
just like tweet it at me or something. Like, get in contact with me personally, and I'll text him and I'll respond.
Other questions from chat. Any of if you guys want to do. I like somebody says look under your fort, you get a computer. We don't have your computer at the underneath your fort, but that's fine. Icarus 23 says what did you study in Icarus 23 says what did you study in uni? You talked about theater, but did you study anything else?
I also took British history. I also took like a bunch of classes because I like my major wasn't anything. I didn't like really major in anything worth it. But I did. I took this amazing sci-fi class where like we got to like read sci-fi and talk about sci-fi. That was one that really, really stuck with me. I took a horrible science class. I don't know, guys. University was a fucking mess. I was drunk. That's what I took in university was alcohol.
Abiha 1225 says, what Disney princess were you?
I was several Disney princesses. I was Snow White, Belle, Anna and Elsa from Frozen, Ariel from The Little Mermaid, Rapunzel from Tangled, and also Barbie. I was Tinkerbell once or twice, Sleeping Beauty in theory.
So you played just a ton of them.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'm a chameleon of sorts. I used to bleach my eyebrows so that they weren't so dark, so I could play like redheads and blondes.
Hey on My Biscuit says, do you feel like being a Disney princess for hire gave you a specific skill being a Twitch streamer?
Yeah, I think it did. I think it helped me have a smidge more patience. I definitely noticed that like from the time that I started being a Disney princess, that like the like hyper positivity of the characters, the like openness, the sweetness, the like general positive disposition definitely bled into my like personality in real life. And so like I see that coming through as a Twitch streamer, and I see that in like my interactions in general with people, that like if I find myself in an awkward situation, I will default to princess. I will just like go into like default princess character and like, oh, okay, I see. Oh, and that's how you feel about that. Of course. Yes. Oh, of course. Yes. Oh, and I understand. Absolutely. Yes, of course. Like, that's how you deal with motherfuckers in real life. So yeah, being a princess is great.
Todd Herman says, what are you planning for the next 30 days of streaming specifically?
Okay, so getting more time zone friendly streams, because right now like I'm sort of at the mercy of my other jobs to like stream around. So more time zone friendly streams. Again, more baking streams. Like we're gonna go into the kitchen. There's a kitchen over there, guys, and like being able to like stand up and interact with you guys like a little bit less constricted in like the confines of the blanket would be cool. Baking, video games, arts and crafts, more collaborations with other streamers. I've been like throwing around the idea of like maybe Slicker wants to do arts and crafts with me. Maybe he has like a hidden talent for macrame that he just needs to develop. And then maybe he will find this joy inside of him, perhaps. And like, who knows what John Zerka could accomplish with like a smidge of paper mache. All this and more.
You're bringing arts and crafts to Twitch, arts and crafts collabs to Twitch. That's what I'm hearing. The last question I will ask is from Steffi Rocks, who says, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start streaming?
Oh, you just have to do it. It's like everything else in the whole entire world. You can think about it as much as you want, and if you think about it every single day, well then maybe it's worth your time every single day. You just have to keep doing it. And there will be good streams and there will be bad streams. There'll be streams when you get off and you're like, there is no shower hot enough on the planet for me to wash that off me. But then you also get off other streams and you realize that like you've made genuine connections with fantastic people all over this planet. And if we weren't put here to do that, then what the fuck else are we put here to do? So it is a worthy endeavor. You can do it. Have a good attitude going into it, and you'll be surprised at the good attitudes that you find within it.
Well, hey, thank you so much for joining the show. Really appreciate it. Where can people find all your stuff?
You can find me at twitch.tv/invader_vie. You can find me on Instagram at InvaderVie, all one word, and on Twitter at InvaderVie, all one word. And also there's a YouTube channel, perhaps. And I mean, if you threw a rock in the air, there's a probability that it would hit me, but it's not a possibility.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad that I'm glad that people have the full lineup of things that they can find you at. Thanks so much for joining me on Stream Chat. Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you to Alienware and Intel for sponsoring, and we'll see you next time.
Good night, everyone.